A year after one of the most destructive wildfires in California's history, the city of Montecito in Santa Barbara County experienced a series of devastating mudslides that took the lives of 23 people. LA Times contributor Catherine Salent wrote about a 15-year-old girl with a unique story of survival. Her voice saved her then, and it's still saving her now.
Since the moment I woke up, I had just a terrible feeling about that day. We heard all the raining. Dad ran inside and he yelled for everyone to get in the car. And as I got halfway through the hallway, water started flooding in like a river. I just got sucked under. Like I was trying to hold my breath, and at some point I just couldn't do it anymore, so I breathed in. And I remember the feeling of mud just going down my throat, and like twigs and rocks and all that stuff. I hit something really hard and the drowning stopped. At that moment, I thought I was dead. I was like, is this death? Like, is it just wherever you die, is that where you are forever? I heard some whispering. So I was just screaming and screaming, and then I heard the whispering go away. I was really worried at that point. I was like, oh no, I'm alive. They didn't hear me. And then I heard the whispering come back. And so that time, I like really let it all out. Like I screamed so much for so long, and then finally I heard someone say, "We hear you, we got you."
Grace, how sweet the sound.
Lauren Canton has taught me about courage and beauty. She's taught me about grace and grit. And I think she's taught us all that, yes, magic and miracles still do happen. It's my honor and just great privilege to introduce to you my student, my friend, and my teacher, and one of our Montecito miracles, Lauren Canton.
Here thus far, and grace will lead us home.
Since I don't usually express in big words exactly what's happened, I think singing is just a way that I can show what I'm feeling. And also, I've found that it helps to inspire a lot of people in the community, and that feels great.
'Twas blind, but now I see.
Catherine Salent joins us now. She wrote the column 1 piece for the LA Times. Thank you for being here, Catherine, and telling this story.
Thank you for having me, Lisa.
Let's start by explaining who the Canton family was.
Mother, father, and 17-year-old son Jack, and then 14-year-old Lauren. And they had already been warned that they may need to evacuate, so their bags were packed and they were ready to go. And in the next few moments, a wall of mud came in and just enveloped them. At first, she wasn't sure what happened. She wasn't sure if she was alive or dead. And she came to the realization that she was alive, so she tried to find ways to comfort herself. And her voice has always been a comfort. She began singing Les Miserables.
And then when she did, as she mentioned, when she heard rescuers looking, she screamed and she screamed and she screamed and she screamed, and they finally found her. When she came to in the hospital, what was the state of the rest of her family?
The rescuers had found her mother a little further down on top of a debris pile, and her mother told her then, they FaceTime actually, that her father had died and Jack was missing.
They have never found her brother Jack's body, that 17-year-old boy, but objects have shown up. Describe the objects that have been found.
Every bit of their life was on display, all the way to the ocean. And so over the past year, people have been finding items, and 410 days after the mudslides on the beach in kind of a rocky area was Jack's sonogram. And she learned about that on Valentine's Day. About a year before the mudslides, she had made for her husband, for a Christmas present, a quilt that showed a silhouette of Dave, that was her husband's name, and Jack, right after they had done a scuba dive together. So she had done that as a silhouette on a background. Well, about 9 months after the mudslides, they found the quilt and returned it to her.
She's working on another quilt now.
Yes.
That she hopes to use to wrap Jack when she still believes his body will be found someday. She goes out and looks for him every weekend, right?
Yes, she has not lost faith that Jack will be found. And she has his favorite orange color and a fuzzy material on one side of the quilt, and on the other side is another silhouette of the entire family against a field of a giant heart.
Saying that they'll always be a family.
Yes.
Meantime, Lauren is performing. Tell us about this, this competition she was in.
She was in a competition called Teen Star. It's a wonderful event put on by a nonprofit in Santa Barbara County where teens from every school in Santa Barbara County compete for an American Idol-like competition.
Kim and Lauren today, tell me how they are helping each other heal and sort of where they are and all of that.
They, I think, are kind of warily figuring it out day by day. There's still a lot of trauma for them to process before they can really reach the deepest wells of grief. So they're just supporting each other.
Thank you, Catherine, so much. We wish them the best in the future.